Hello, hello, Wobble Rocket here. Today we're taking a look at Disfigure. This is a free-to-play action roguelite, sort of a Vampire Survivors-like game with some interesting, unique twists. Let's hop into the game and we'll start talking about it. We're gonna grab pistol. We'll play on normal difficulty for now. So the first thing that you'll notice in this game is that you have a area of light surrounding your character, and you can change between a circular field and a flashlight field. You can only see enemies that are in your field of vision, although you can harm enemies that are outside of that field of vision. As you kill enemies, you level up and can select from a number of different abilities, each of which unlocks new chains of additional upgrades that you can get as well. I think we're going to go with guided missile. There are some playstyle differences between the two lighting styles. Circular lighting tends to give you upgrades that are, like you can see here, gleam, gives you upgrades to movement speed. There's another chain that slows enemies down while they are in that area. The cone-shaped lighting tends to have more like attack speed bonuses and things like that. I'm going to go with burn, which will give us a chance to add a damage over time effect on these enemies. One of the things that I did have to do some tweaking with in this game, this is one of those games that with the sharp contrast and the number of graphical effects that the developer uses, I did find this game a little triggering for my photosensitive epilepsy. Thankfully, however, the settings menu includes a ton of great options for accessibility. So you can turn off like the VHS scan lines, you can turn off the film grain effect, you can adjust the amount of screen shake that there is. I was a little worried that the flashbang weapon would actually be a little triggering for me because of the flash, but it really is pretty subtle. It's not something that I've found has bothered me for too long. Now that said, the couple of runs that I have done with this game, I have found that pretty much one run is about the max that I can sustain doing. If I push it any longer than that, I do tend to get a little bit of a headache. It's not really a fault with the game itself. I really do like the contrasty style, but for my particular condition, it's just not something that I can do long term. But I'm feeling pretty good right now, so we're gonna push through this run. This won't be a game that I'm going to cover a lot in my channel, but I really like what the developer is doing with this, so I wanted to give it some attention. We're going to go for multi-shot, which is going to add a projectile to our weapon. So like I mentioned, this game is completely free to play at the moment. The developer does have plans that they may end up releasing a paid version of the game at a later date with some updated content. There are some plans for some new developments coming in August. But you can download the full game for free, so it's not really a demo. The game is fully playable at this time. There is a optional donation DLC, which as far as I know doesn't add any content. It's just a way to support the developer if you want to, and that is $4.99, I believe. We're gonna go for a quick trigger to increase our attack rate. That's gonna also increase the rate at which our flashbang shoot out. It's also going to increase the chances to distribute that burn on enemies. These green dots that you'll see are shots from enemies. After I finish this run, I'll pop into the settings menu and we'll take a look at some of the accessibility features that this game has. I don't actually know how long the runs are on this game. I want to say they're probably 30 minutes like most survivor likes. I've only made it to, I think the highest I've made it is about 18 minutes. And then I end up getting killed by one of the many enemies that come through. You do only have 3 hearts, although there are some boss enemies that spawn later on in the run. If you kill one of those boss enemies, they do drop a heart, which regenerates some of your health. As I have not found any upgrades that have any sort of regenerative abilities, so watching your health is very important in this game because you don't have a lot of leeway. Let's grab frost flashbangs. That's going to freeze any enemies that get caught in our flashbang effect, and that's going to be really helpful. Later on, we can get an upgrade that will increase the number of flashbangs that we fire out, and that's going to make it a really good crowd control weapon for us. Not super important at this point, but it will become very important once the enemies start spawning a little bit more often and we start seeing more monsters on the field. We're going to grab ballistic tip for some more attack speed, and it also increases the speed of our projectiles. So you can see that I'm able to target enemies that are outside of my field of vision. If you're not aware of where those enemies are, it can be kind of difficult to find them. Let's grab triple shot. That's going to add another projectile. However, it does decrease the damage that our bullets do. Since we do have the burn effect, and I might see if we can pick up something like shock or bleed, we're focused a little bit more on just kind of distributing damage over time effects right now. Let's grab puncture rounds. That's going to increase our damage by piercing through enemies, so that's going to be really helpful as well. I first learned about this game from Chaotic Fear 19's channel. He's another YouTuber who covers indie games quite often, and he's a great guy. I'm in his Discord server. Definitely check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description to his original video of this as well. It's been kind of a while since I've done any long form content. I've been very busy lately with just some family situations going on, and I did pick up some gig work doing some website designs, so I haven't had quite as much time to spend on recording content. We're going to grab the bleed ability, so that's going to add another damage over time effect that we can distribute with our multiple projectiles. But that gig work project is moving along at a pretty good pace, so I should have some more time freed up fairly soon that will allow me to record more long form videos. I am learning a little bit how to use YouTube Shorts and TikTok, so those are some types of content that I'm looking into a little bit more often as well. Let's see what else we can grab. We're going to grab heavy shrapnel. That's going to increase the damage that our shrapnel projectiles deal. We can eventually get those up to 100% damage. The other advantage of that is that some of the things like the burn tree, eventually you get like a fire projectile that shoots out, and that can actually be multiplied by the shrapnel effect as well. Took some damage at some point. I wasn't even really paying attention to when it happened. Okay, so here we go. Here's the blaze ability. Every 5th shot, we're going to shoot out a gout of flame that deals 20 damage and can inflict fire. And what's great about this is when that fire effect kills something, you just saw it right there, the shrapnel effect will take effect and shoot out additional gouts of flame in 2 other directions. try to collect as many of these upgrades as I can so that we can keep leveling up. You also get these weapon perks based on what weapon you select, and the score that you earn gives you cash, which you can use to unlock other weapons. At this point, I only have access to the pistol, but there are a wide variety of additional weapons that you can get. So light rounds causes enemies that we hit to be illuminated with a vision circle permanently. Every third shot will have 3 times bullet speed and deal double damage with lucky bullet. An adrenaline rush every 5 seconds. Fire rate, bullet size, and bullet speed are increased by 50%. I'm going to go for that one because the additional fire rate is going to really help with sending out our flashbangs. It's also going to help with sending out our fire blasts. The game has a tendency to kind of evolve. It starts off very much like a bullet hell type game where you're the only thing shooting out any sort of projectiles, and the further you advance in the round, more and more enemies start firing projectiles at you, and dodging becomes a much higher priority. I will probably need to start picking up some additional upgrades to my vision, because it can be very difficult to find out where everything is coming from when you can't see. So we've got a couple of really great choices here. Bullet flower, every third shot is going to shoot out 9 smaller projectiles all around us. Cluster flashbangs will cause our flashbangs to split into 2 additional flashbangs. Stopping power is a huge increase to our bullet damage. I'm probably going to go for that one because once we start running into bosses, we're going to need that stopping power to really deal enough damage to them. The game does give you the option of changing the color on your crosshairs and changing the color of your character. I kind of wish that there was a slider for allowing you to change the color of your shots, because the stark white on the black contrast can be a little bit difficult for some people. It would probably be beneficial to give an option that allows things like that. Enemy projectiles move 30% slower and we move 10% faster is going to be really nice later on in the run once we start dealing with a lot more projectiles. The freeze effect from that flashbang is really starting to come in handy now. You can see that it's just paralyzing large packs. And I took damage right there and ran out. So I'm not going to do another run because I don't want to kind of tempt fate too much, but I am going to show off some of the other features in this game. Like I said, you can unlock additional weapons, and in fact, we just unlocked the shotgun. Click to unlock. And it has a completely different set of weapon perks, so it'll get additional spread, bullet damage, or fire rate. Bullets spawn far-reaching vision trails that last for a second. Enemies right next to you take 200% more damage from point blank. Every shot fires an extra burst of bullets, but it decreases your bullet damage. And then the last set of perks, shooting enemies that are on fire decreases their fire cooldown by 20%. That would be a really nice addition right there. Slug shot shoots fewer bullets, but they do more damage. And bird shot fires more bullets, but they do less damage. Real quick, let me show you the settings page. There are a lot of different settings that you can play around with. You can change the color of your character icon. You can also change the color of your crosshair. By default, all of these are, again, that stark white. If I had one gripe here, it would be that these bars need to be just a little bit larger. It can be a little difficult sometimes to make sure that you're clicking directly on the bar. As far as special effects go, you can disable camera movement. You can completely disable screen shake. It starts off at 100%. I did find that at 100% screen shake, it was giving me a little bit of a headache. So being able to turn that down to about 15% has been really helpful for me. You can bulk turn on or off all special effects, or you can also modify each individual thing. Turning off the film grain and the VHS scan lines were really helpful for me, and chromatic aberration was also helpful. Of course, you can change resolution, all those kind of things as well. So really great accessibility features. I'm really pleased the developer included these. Check out Disfigure. It's a really fun free-to-play action roguelike game. It's a great addition to the survivors-like genre with the light functions that it has. I think it's a really great game. I'm really excited to see what this game turns into. The developer has some pretty good plans, and I think it's going to do really well. My name's Wobble Rocket. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you around.